Commander Ryan sat in the command chair of the Cathari scout ship, watching the stars stretch into streaks as their faster-than-light drive carried them closer to human space. The galaxy had always spoken about humans in whispers. Every empire had heard the rumors, yet no one dared cross into the Sol cluster. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were strong. Humans were different. Now, Ryan was about to see why. The scout ship emerged from the lightspeed trail into a calm star system. Planets orbited a bright yellow sun, and satellites marked the edges of human colonies. From the viewports, Ryan could see cities stretching across deserts, forests, and icy plains. The architecture was unlike anything the Cathari had built. Towering spires rose from the ground, but they blended perfectly with the natural landscape. Roads and canals connected settlements, yet nothing seemed chaotic. It was a balance of order and life, something that fascinated Ryan. Ryan activated the ship's long-range scanners. The readings were unusual. Humans had technology, yes, but it was not aggressive. Their defense systems did not pulse with constant energy as the Cathari warships did. Instead, it seemed alive, almost aware of the surrounding space. It adjusted and adapted. Ryan frowned, trying to understand. There were no visible weapons fire, yet no ships dared move near their borders. Even the small patrol drones avoided human space as if an invisible wall warned them away. A communication attempt was sent. A simple signal, polite and formal, in the universal code used by most empires. There was no immediate response. Ryan glanced at the crew. Everyone was tense. The stories they had heard were true, humans did not speak first, but when they acted, the results were clear. They were calm, confident, and unafraid. A small colony vessel approached the scout ship. It was sleek and white, reflecting the light of the star. No weapons were visible, yet it moved with precision, intercepting the Cathari ship without hesitation. Ryan felt a sudden chill. The human vessel did not threaten. It did not attack. It simply observed. The crew could feel it studying them, learning their patterns and reactions. Ryan realized that this was the human strength. They did not need to strike first to control the situation. "Commander," said Talai, the navigation officer, "their technology is adapting to our sensors. It is analyzing our ship faster than we can react." Ryan nodded. "It is not hostile, but it is prepared. Every empire that comes here underestimates them. We cannot make that mistake." From the windows, they could see the human colony below. Children played near the domed habitats. Workers tended to gardens, and transport vehicles moved smoothly along streets. There was no panic. There was no rush. Everything had purpose. The Cathari crew could not understand how humans could live on such harsh planets and still thrive. The deserts were hot, the mountains cold, and some areas seemed uninhabitable. Yet humans had built homes, farms, and even energy grids that powered entire cities. The scout ship hovered over the largest city. Giant structures rose from the ground, some taller than anything in Cathari space. Their surfaces reflected light like mirrors, but they were strong and unbroken. Ryan's mind raced. Every empire relied on force. Humans relied on something else. Planning, adaptation, and courage. Humans did not rush. They waited, studied, and struck only when the moment was perfect. A small human shuttle approached the colony gates. It carried a single figure. Ryan's crew watched as the figure stood at the threshold. There was no armor. No weapon. Just presence. Ryan felt a strange mixture of fear and respect. The human's eyes seemed to measure everything, reading intentions without a word. It was a simple gesture, yet it carried power. The crew understood instinctively, this was why no empire had crossed the border. Ryan turned to the crew. "We have entered a place that does not need to fight to protect itself. Humans are strong, but not in the way we expect. Their power is in their minds, their unity, and their courage. We must be careful. Observation only. Nothing more. For hours, the scout ship moved along the outer borders of human space. They recorded data, scanned cities, and analyzed energy patterns. Everywhere they looked, humans had turned danger into opportunity. Natural storms powered their energy grids. Rocky terrain became farms. Even in the darkest regions, humans had built light, life, and hope. The Ketheri had never seen anything like it. As the scout ship prepared to return to Ketheri space, Ryan could not stop staring at the distant sun. Humans had survived countless challenges, yet they grew stronger with each one. No empire could match that resilience. No strategy could predict them. And now, Ryan understood the truth: humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were a force unlike any other, and the galaxy would soon learn why. The Ketheri fleet returned to the council chamber on their home world. Commander Ryan stepped forward, his uniform crisp and his face serious. The council members, a mix of generals, diplomats, and scientists, had gathered to hear his report. The room was filled with whispers. Everyone had heard stories of humans, but few had seen them directly. Ryan cleared his throat. Our scouts have entered human space. We observed their colonies, their cities, and their technology. They do not attack. They do not strike first. Yet their presence is more powerful than any weapon we know. Humans are not to be underestimated. A council member named Laris chuckled. Commander, they are only humans. Small, slow, fragile. How can they threaten the empires of the galaxy? Ryan shook his head. It is not size or speed that matters. It is their intelligence, their creativity, and their ability to adapt. They study everything, learn quickly, and respond in ways no other species can predict. I have never seen anything like it. Another member, Darrow, frowned. Are you saying we should fear them? Not fear, Ryan said firmly, but respect. Observation is safe. Provocation is dangerous. If any empire tries to force its way into human space, we cannot be sure what humans will do. They will not act recklessly, but they will act decisively. And that action will be unlike anything we have faced. Meanwhile, traders and explorers who had approached human space told stories of their own. A small Alvarian freighter had once tried to dock at a human colony for trade. The humans welcomed them politely. They shared supplies, knowledge, and technology. But the freighter crew spoke of the humans' eyes, calm and calculating. Every movement was precise, every decision deliberate. The aliens left with gifts, yes, but also with a deep sense of caution. Back in human space, the colonies continued their quiet work. Cities expanded carefully, yet rapidly. Farmers used advanced machines to cultivate harsh soil. Engineers built structures that could withstand storms and earthquakes. Children learned skills in classrooms that combined logic, science, and creativity. Humans were not just surviving, they were growing stronger every day. Commander Ryan studied the scans of human ships. They were smaller than the largest fleets of the galaxy, yet each vessel was efficient, balanced, and capable of multiple functions. Weapons systems were integrated, energy fields were adaptive, and navigation systems were precise. There was no wasted design, no extravagance. Humans seemed to focus on what worked, what survived, and what could be improved. Tailai, the navigation officer, looked uneasy. Commander, we have noticed patterns in their energy grids. It is almost as if their systems respond to our scans. Every probe we send into their space is quickly neutralized or absorbed without destruction. They are learning from us before we even react. Ryan nodded. That is exactly the point. They do not fight blindly. They analyze, adapt, and control the situation. Any empire that crosses their border will find itself outmatched not in brute force, but in intelligence. The council listened quietly. Some dismissed Ryan's warnings as exaggeration. Others, however, felt the truth in his words. Humans had survived countless threats on their home world. They had endured natural disasters, disease, famine, and war. Yet they had grown stronger each time. No species in the galaxy had shown such resilience combined with creativity. Ryan continued. We observed one of their border patrols this morning. No weapons were deployed, yet every movement was strategic. They could have destroyed us easily, but they chose to study, to wait, and to prepare. That is why no empire has dared cross into human space. Humans are not reckless. They are patient, smart, and unified. That is a challenge unlike any other. Outside the council chamber, news of Ryan's report spread quickly. Across the galaxy, whispers of humans became louder. Some laughed, calling the warnings ridiculous. Others grew cautious. Explorers, traders, and spies shared stories of colonies thriving on impossible planets, of ships that moved with precision and intelligence, of people who survived anything and learned from it. The reputation of humans grew like a shadow over the stars. Back in human space, Mara, a young leader among the colonies, watched the horizon. She knew the galaxy was curious about humans. She knew some species might test their strength one day. But Mara was calm. Humans had survived everything before. They had learned, adapted, and improved. She trusted in their unity, their minds, and their courage. When the galaxy finally understood, it would realize that humans were not just another species. Humans were something far greater. Ryan's scouts left human space, their data carefully recorded. The council would study it, debate it, and perhaps dismiss it. But Ryan knew the truth. The galaxy had been warned. Humans were strong, clever, and unpredictable. Any empire that underestimated them would soon regret it. The stars seemed brighter as the Cathari ships returned home. Humans were out there, thriving on difficult worlds, building civilizations, and growing stronger every day. And the galaxy was only beginning to understand why no empire crossed into their space. The Alvarians, curious and proud, decided to test the limits of human space. They launched an unmanned probe designed to explore, record, and return with information. Commander Ryan warned caution, but pride and curiosity often outweighed caution among the galaxy's empires. The probe carried advanced sensors, weapon systems for defense, and a complete database of Alvarian technology. As it moved toward the human border, the probe passed through dense asteroid fields, navigated magnetic storms, and avoided gravitational anomalies. The human colonies appeared on its scanners, glowing like small jewels in the darkness. The probe recorded everything, from city layouts to energy grids. At first, the humans did not respond. Everything seemed calm and ordinary, almost peaceful. Then, unexpectedly, the probe's systems began to change. Energy readings shifted. Defensive grids appeared on the probe's monitors that had not existed before. The sensors detected a human ship approaching silently. It moved with precise calculations, intercepting the probe without raising alarms or firing weapons. Inside the Cathari observation station, alarms rang. "Commander, the probe is being engaged." Talai shouted. "It is not a threat, but it is controlling the probe's movement." Ryan frowned. "They are not attacking. They are studying it. Do not interfere. Observe only." The human ship made no aggressive moves. Instead, it scanned the probe, analyzing its systems in seconds. Then, without damage, it guided the probe back to human space. Data streams flowed in every direction. The probe had recorded nothing, because the humans had absorbed its information into their systems. It was as if they could read the probe's memory faster than it could record. Ryan's crew exchanged nervous glances. "They can process information faster than our machines," Talai whispered. They learn before we even act. Yes, Ryan said quietly. This is their true power. They do not rely on strength. They rely on understanding. Every empire in the galaxy depends on weapons or size. Humans depend on their minds. The council in Alvarian space received the report with disbelief. Many dismissed it as exaggeration. Others grew uneasy. The probe had returned intact, but the data it carried had been changed, modified, and improved by human systems. It was clear humans were watching, learning, and preparing. Meanwhile, in human space, Joran, a young systems engineer, examined the absorbed probe's data. He studied its movements, power sources, and coding. Within hours, he had modified human technology using the probe's information, improving energy efficiency, communication speed, and defense calculations. Humans were not just defending, they were growing stronger from every encounter. At the edge of human space, Mara observed the situation. They are curious, she said to her team. They want to know us, but they do not understand us. Let them learn in their own way. They will see that humans are not weak. They will learn that we survive, adapt, and thrive. The Alvarians debated what to do next. Some wanted to send another probe, armed with more defenses. Others argued that testing humans could lead to disaster. Commander Ryan spoke quietly in their meetings. I warned you. Humans are not reckless. They do not need to attack to defend themselves. Any intrusion will be met with intelligence, adaptation, and precision. That is a challenge we cannot control. The story of the first probe spread quickly. Across the galaxy, other empires began to take notice. Explorers who had entered human space reported strange energy readings, adaptive defenses, and structures that seemed almost alive. Traders spoke of colonies surviving impossible conditions. Scientists puzzled over the humans' efficiency, creativity, and speed of learning. In human space, life continued. Cities expanded, colonies grew, and technology improved. Humans did not need to chase knowledge aggressively, they absorbed it naturally from their surroundings and from those who came to them. Mara knew the galaxy would eventually understand. Humans were different, and their difference was strength. Commander Ryan returned to the observation station one last time before leaving human space. He stared at the stars, thinking of the probe and the humans it had encountered. They were small, fragile in appearance, and yet unstoppable in ways the galaxy could not predict. Every system, every decision, every response was calculated and precise. They did not fight carelessly. They learned, adapted, and prepared. Ryan turned to Talai. This is why no empire crosses into human space. Humans are not just strong. They are clever, adaptable, and united. We cannot challenge them with weapons alone. Any attack would fail before it begins. Talai nodded. It feels like they are always one step ahead, even when they are still observing. Yes, Ryan said. That is the nature of humans. That is why the galaxy has never defeated them, and why no empire dares enter their space. As the Ketheri fleet departed, the stars of human space glowed peacefully. Humans continued their work, building, learning, and thriving. The galaxy watched, slowly realizing that the first probe had been more than a test. It had been a lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. Humans were a challenge unlike any other. The galaxy had watched human space with curiosity and caution for many cycles, but now a human delegation traveled beyond the Sol cluster. Mara, a skilled leader of the colonies, commanded the group. Their mission was simple, to offer trade, knowledge, and friendship, while observing the wider galaxy. The humans moved with calm confidence. They arrived at a neutral system, a meeting place for several empires. Ships of various designs gathered in orbit. Humans approached in sleek vessels, white and silver, small by galactic standards but perfectly balanced. No weapons protruded from their ships, yet the energy shields shimmered, adaptive and strong. The other empires whispered among themselves, unsure what to expect. Mara's team docked at the central station. She stepped out first, walking steadily into the hall where diplomats from multiple empires waited. They had expected humans to be cautious, timid, or unprepared. Instead, Mara's presence radiated calm authority. She smiled politely, greeted the delegates, and listened carefully before speaking. "Greetings," Mara said. "We come in peace. We wish to share knowledge and learn from one another. Humans respect life, and we seek understanding across the galaxy. Conflict is not our first choice. Cooperation is our goal." The delegates were impressed by her clarity and honesty. A representative from the Alvarians asked, "Why do you not expand aggressively like other species?" Mara considered the question. "Expansion without care leads to destruction. Humans grow through learning, cooperation, and adaptation. We build communities, develop technology, and explore challenges. We protect our space, but we do not conquer unnecessarily. Our strength comes from unity, intelligence, and respect for life." The diplomats exchanged glances. They had not heard a response like this before. Most species measured power by fleets, armies, or territory. Humans measured strength by knowledge, cooperation, and problem-solving. As the meeting continued, Mara subtly studied the alien delegates. She observed their gestures, their speech patterns, and the ways they moved through the room. She made careful notes, not for deception, but to understand the galaxy better. Humans valued learning, even from those who might one day challenge them. A military officer from another empire asked, "What if a species attacks your colonies?" Mara's eyes were steady. "Humans will defend ourselves with intelligence and unity. We do not seek war, but we are prepared. Every challenge teaches us. Every threat strengthens us. You will not find humans reckless, but you will find us capable of surprising solutions." The room fell silent. The delegates realized that Mara's words were not empty. Humans did not rely on brute force. They relied on strategy, adaptation, and quick learning. Even in the calm of diplomacy, humans projected a quiet power that others could not ignore. After the formal meeting, Mara and her team toured the station, observing alien technology and sharing human innovations. The aliens noticed how humans absorbed information, improved systems, and suggested practical solutions. Every step Mara took demonstrated patience, intelligence, and skill. Humans did not act impulsively. They measured, calculated, and applied knowledge efficiently. Outside the station, Mara looked at the stars. She thought of human colonies across the Sol cluster. Each colony faced challenges: harsh climates, limited resources, and unpredictable natural events. Yet humans adapted. They built homes, farms, and energy grids that worked even in the most extreme conditions. Their history was full of survival and growth. That history shaped their strength. Meanwhile, reports from the meeting spread quickly through the galaxy. Humans were polite, intelligent, and capable. But even more, they were unpredictable. Delegates who had studied humans now realized that diplomacy alone could not reveal the full scope of human power. Humans observed, adapted, and learned from every encounter. Any empire that misjudged them would face consequences. Ryan, observing from the Ketheri fleet, watched the transmissions from Mara's delegation. "This is how humans project strength," he said to Talai. "They do not need weapons to impress the galaxy. Their intelligence, calm, and careful observation make them formidable. Every empire must understand that humans do not fight carelessly. They act with purpose and clarity." Talai nodded. "It is more than diplomacy. It is a lesson in how humans think and respond. They turn challenges into opportunities." "Yes," Ryan agreed. "And that is why no empire crosses into human space. Humans are strong not because they attack, but because they prepare, learn, and respond with unmatched skill. As the human delegation departed the neutral system, Mara left a final message. We come in peace, and we hope for understanding. Humans respect life, knowledge, and cooperation. Learn from us if you wish. Challenge us at your risk. The galaxy listened carefully. Stories of human strength, intelligence, and resilience spread. Empires began to reconsider their strategies. No species had ever faced humans before, and the lesson was clear: humans were unpredictable, clever, and united. They were a challenge unlike any the galaxy had seen. Back in the Sol cluster, human colonies continued their work. Children learned, engineers built, and scientists explored. Humans did not seek to impress the galaxy, but their presence alone inspired respect. Mara knew the universe was watching, and when the time came, humanity would show that true power lies not only in weapons, but in minds, courage, and unity. It started as a small mistake. A fleet of alien mining ships had wandered too close to the edge of human space. Their sensors detected nothing dangerous, and the crew assumed human colonies were peaceful and weak. The ships moved forward, scanning asteroids for valuable minerals. They did not realize that every movement was being watched. On a nearby human outpost, alarms sounded. Mara, now stationed at the Border Command Center, observed the approaching ships. They are too close, she said calmly to her officers. Prepare defenses, but do not strike. We will respond with intelligence first. The human fleet deployed silently. Ships moved through asteroid fields, adjusting positions with precision. Energy shields formed adaptive patterns, ready to intercept any threat. Humans did not raise weapons yet, but the aliens could feel the presence of unseen forces. Their sensors picked up strange fluctuations, shields reacting to their movements. Fear began to ripple through the mining fleet. Commander Ryan, observing from a Cathari scout ship outside the border, was astonished. They are not attacking, yet the aliens are trapped, he whispered. Humans do not need to fire weapons to control a situation. Their strategy is enough. The human ships positioned themselves around the intruders. The mining fleet could move in any direction, but every exit path was monitored. Any aggressive move would be countered immediately. Mara's orders were clear: disable the intruders without harming lives. The aliens attempted to flee. Their engines flared, but human energy fields slowed their ships, gently guiding them back. Humans used precision methods to disable engines, communications, and navigation systems without causing damage. The aliens were awed and terrified. They had expected attack, but humans had not used force. They had used strategy. One mining captain transmitted a message in panic. "What are you? Why do you stop us without attacking?" Mara replied, her voice calm and confident. "We are humans. We protect our space and our people. We do not strike unnecessarily, but we defend intelligently. Learn from this encounter. No one survives aggression here without consequences." The mining ships complied. Their crews scrambled to regain control while humans monitored every action. Within hours, the fleet was guided back to safe zones outside human territory. Not a single life was lost. Not a single ship was destroyed. Yet the aliens would remember this encounter for the rest of their lives. Back at the Cathari observation post, Commander Ryan recorded the events. "Humans are not just strong," he said. "They do not rely on weapons alone. They rely on intelligence, adaptation, and precise action. Any empire that underestimates them will fail." Stories of the border incident spread quickly. Traders, explorers, and spies shared accounts of humans acting decisively without violence. Across the galaxy, species began to understand that humans were unpredictable. They had survived impossible worlds, harsh conditions, and countless challenges. They did not seek war, yet they would defend themselves in ways no one could anticipate. At human colonies, life continued as usual. Children played near energy farms, engineers repaired ships, and scientists studied energy patterns. Humans did not celebrate the incident. They learned from it. Every encounter with outsiders provided new knowledge, new ways to improve defenses, and new ways to thrive. Mara spoke to her officers privately. Do not underestimate the galaxy's curiosity. Others will test us. They will try to see our weaknesses. But humans are not defined by fear. We are defined by knowledge, unity, and courage. Every challenge makes us stronger. Meanwhile, in the neutral systems, alien diplomats debated the meaning of the encounter. They did not fire weapons, one said, yet they controlled the situation completely. How can a species be this effective without attacking? Others nodded. It is not aggression that makes humans strong. It is their intelligence, coordination, and ability to adapt. We have never seen anything like this. Ryan, reviewing the reports, felt both respect and caution. He had warned the council before, yet many had ignored his words. Now, the galaxy was beginning to see the truth. Humans were not reckless. They were clever, disciplined, and united. Every empire that crossed the border would face consequences before a single shot was fired. At night, Mara looked at the stars from the command center. Human colonies stretched across the Sol cluster, each thriving despite challenges. Every settlement, every ship, every person was part of a network of knowledge and strength. The galaxy would continue to watch. They would continue to test, but humans would continue to survive, adapt, and thrive. Ryan closed his log. The galaxy has been warned, he said. Humans are not to be underestimated. Their power is not in weapons alone, but in strategy, intelligence, and courage. Any empire that challenges them will learn this truth in ways they cannot predict. From human space, Mara's voice echoed across the communication network. We do not seek war, but we are always prepared. We grow stronger from every encounter. Remember this lesson. Humans are not just survivors. Humans are a force that cannot be ignored. The stars shimmered above the colonies. Humans continued their work, their lives, and their growth. And across the galaxy, the warning spread: humans were clever, united, and unstoppable in ways the universe was only beginning to understand. The galaxy had long wondered why no empire crossed into human space. Myths and rumors filled council chambers, but now, explorers and traders began to report the truth. Humans were not just survivors, they were something far greater. Commander Ryan studied the data from countless observations. Human colonies thrived on planets that others considered uninhabitable. Deserts, ice worlds, and stormy plains were home to cities, farms, and energy grids. Humans had adapted to every environment they touched. Their technology was efficient, balanced, and practical. Every system seemed alive, responding to threats and challenges without wasting energy. In a quiet library on a neutral station, a human historian named Joran spoke to a gathering of scholars and diplomats. He was calm, but his words carried weight. Humans survived countless disasters on Earth, he began. Floods, fires, disease, famine, and war. Every time, we learned. Every time, we improved. Our strength comes from our ability to adapt, to work together, and to overcome challenges. The audience listened carefully. Many delegates were shocked. No other species had a history filled with such constant survival against extreme odds. Humans did not merely endure, they learned, innovated, and grew stronger from every experience. Ryan thought back to the first probe and the border incident. Every encounter with outsiders had shown the same pattern. Humans studied, learned, and responded with efficiency. They did not act recklessly. They did not attack without reason. But when they acted, their actions were precise, strategic, and often surprising. Humans, Joran continued, are unpredictable because we adapt. We are united because we value cooperation and knowledge. We are strong because we have learned to survive in ways no other species has. Our past is written in resilience, our present in growth, and our future in intelligence. The diplomats and scholars exchanged glances. Slowly, the pieces fell into place. The reason no empire dared enter human space was not because humans were violent. It was because humans were unstoppable in ways the galaxy could not control or predict. Their strength came from their minds, their unity, and their adaptability. Ryan recorded these observations in his log. It is clear now, he wrote. Humans are not like other species. They do not rely solely on weapons or armies. They rely on learning, adaptation, and strategy. Every challenge they face only makes them stronger. Any empire that underestimates them will fail before it begins. In human colonies, Mara and her team observed the galaxy's reactions. They knew curiosity would continue, but humans did not fear outsiders. They welcomed knowledge, shared insights, and improved from every encounter. Life on the colonies was calm, productive, and innovative. Engineers built better ships, scientists studied energy, and teachers prepared children to think creatively and solve problems. Every human contributed to a network of resilience and growth. Across the galaxy, stories spread of humans' ingenuity. Traders spoke of colonies surviving impossible environments. Explorers described ships that adapted to threats before they arrived. Diplomats reported humans who could negotiate with intelligence and clarity, seeing patterns others missed. The galaxy slowly realized that humans were more than clever or resilient, they were a force unlike any other. Ryan reflected on what he had seen. Humans did not need to intimidate with weapons. Their presence alone carried power. They did not fight recklessly. They did not attack first. Yet their ability to learn, adapt, and unite made them an unbeatable challenge. No empire could predict their actions. No strategy could guarantee success against them. Joran finished his lecture with a message for the galaxy. Humans do not seek to dominate. We seek to survive, to learn, and to grow. Those who challenge us will see that our strength is in our minds, our cooperation, and our courage. Respect us, learn from us, and understand that humans are not just another species. Humans are different. Humans are powerful. The audience left in silence. Slowly, the galaxy's perception began to shift. Myths of human weakness were replaced by stories of strategy, resilience, and intelligence. Every empire that once considered entering human space now hesitated. Curiosity remained, but it was mixed with respect and caution. Ryan looked at the stars beyond the observation station. Human colonies glowed like small beacons of life. They had survived, adapted, and grown stronger than anyone could have imagined. The galaxy had finally begun to understand why no empire crossed into human space. Humans were clever, united, and resilient. They were a force that could not be predicted and could not be underestimated. Mara observed her colonies with pride. Humans had faced countless challenges and had grown stronger each time. Their power was not in destruction, but in creation, adaptation, and intelligence. The galaxy would continue to watch, but one truth was clear: humans were a challenge unlike any other, and their strength would shape the future of the stars. The galaxy had watched human space for generations, always curious, sometimes fearful. Empires had sent scouts, traders, and diplomats. Every encounter had shown the same truth: humans were unpredictable, clever, and united. Now the galaxy understood fully. Humans were not just survivors, they were a force unlike any other. Commander Ryan returned to the Ketheri observation station. He reviewed records of every human colony, every diplomatic encounter, and every defensive action. Each example demonstrated humans' extraordinary ability to adapt and grow. They were not the strongest in size or weaponry, but their intelligence and unity made them nearly unstoppable. They do not need to attack to show power, Ryan said to Tailai. Every action, every decision is precise. They learn from mistakes, adapt quickly, and turn challenges into strength. Any empire that underestimates them will pay dearly. Across the neutral systems, Mara led a new delegation. Humans now traveled openly, sharing knowledge, offering trade, and learning from the galaxy. Their presence was not aggressive. Their intent was not conquest. Humans came to teach and to understand, yet their reputation preceded them. Other species approached with caution, aware that these small, calm beings had survived and thrived where others had failed. At a council meeting of several empires, delegates spoke with respect. We have seen their colonies, one said. We have studied their technology and observed their actions. Humans do not strike first, yet they cannot be challenged lightly. Their intelligence, strategy, and cooperation are unmatched. Another added, they inspire caution, yes, but also admiration. They show that strength is not only in weapons or fleets, but in minds and unity. We must respect them. Meanwhile, in the Sol cluster, humans continued their work. Engineers built ships that could navigate storms and asteroid fields. Scientists studied energy, resources, and planets. Teachers guided children to think critically and solve problems. Farmers grew food on harsh soil. Every colony contributed to a network of growth, knowledge, and resilience. Mara walked through a central city, observing the people. Children played with curiosity, learning science, math, and problem-solving through games. Adults worked together, solving challenges efficiently and calmly. Mara smiled. Humans did not seek glory. They did not seek conflict. Yet every action strengthened their people and their colonies. Back in the Ketheri fleet, Ryan studied a simulation of human defensive tactics. Every scenario tested had failed to predict human actions. The humans adapted to every challenge, turned weaknesses into advantages, and found solutions others could not imagine. Ryan realized fully that humans' power was in their minds and their ability to work together. In the neutral systems, delegates told stories of human diplomacy. Mara and her team had negotiated peacefully, shared knowledge, and improved infrastructure without demanding anything in return. Humans inspired trust as well as caution. They were not conquerors, but anyone who underestimated them would learn the consequences quickly. A historian from a distant world wrote in a record, humans teach the galaxy that true strength is intelligence, courage, and unity. They survive and thrive because they learn, adapt, and cooperate. Any empire that ignores this lesson does so at its own risk. The message spread across the stars. Human colonies grew, fleets explored, and diplomats shared wisdom. Every human action strengthened their reputation. No empire dared challenge them openly. Curiosity remained, but it was tempered with respect. Humanity had become a symbol of cleverness, resilience, and courage. Ryan reflected on all he had seen. Humans were not only survivors, they were innovators, thinkers, and leaders. They had faced countless challenges on their home world and throughout their colonies. Every disaster had taught them, every mistake had improved them, and every encounter had strengthened their resolve. No empire could match humans because humans adapted faster than any strategy could anticipate. Mara addressed her colonies one evening. We do not seek to dominate the galaxy. We seek to live, to grow, and to learn. Our strength is not in weapons, but in our minds, our unity, and our courage. Let the galaxy watch, and let them learn that humans are not just another species. Humans are something different, something strong, and something worth respecting. The stars of the Sol cluster shone brightly. Colonies spread across planets, ships traveled between them, and knowledge flowed freely. Humans had survived, adapted, and grown stronger than anyone could have imagined. Across the galaxy, the truth was clear: humans were clever, united, and unstoppable in ways that no empire could predict. The galaxy finally understood why no empire crossed into human space. Humans did not need to fight first. Humans did not seek conflict. Humans relied on intelligence, cooperation, and courage. Their power was quiet, patient, and unmatched. Respect, admiration, and caution spread through the stars, and a new era began, a time where humans inspired all civilizations by showing that strength comes from the mind, unity, and the will to survive. And in that quiet strength, humanity shone as a beacon across the galaxy, a reminder that true power could be gentle, clever, and unstoppable at the same time.